road tripping has become one of my most favorite things. It has helped me learn so much about a different type of lifestyle. I have gotten over so much of my driving anxiety during this time, and I have gotten to see so much more that I would than flying into one city and then flying into another and not getting to see all the little stops in between. I love stopping at little random coffee shops, weird roadside attractions, staying at super weird motels every night. I love all of it. Well, I did love it. Up until the bitter cold came during the last part of my trip. I think this is the last winter road trip for me, guys. I hate the snow. No. I hate driving in the snow. I think I'm good on the US in the winter. It's not fun here. I think I need to go to another country. So today, I wanted to share with you guys the 5 major reasons that I will never be road tripping in the winter again, to give y'all something to consider if you plan on hitting the road after the temperatures drop below freezing. The first thing you'd want to consider is how many things are going to be closed during the winter. I had so many things that I wanted to see that were just closed by the time that I got there for the season. Even in states that I thought would be like considered warmer, like Alabama. I found this really cool cave bar restaurant to check out, but it had closed a month before I even got there. I had to spend so much longer on my computers trying to find things to do for that day and to film because everything was closed. Unless, of course, you want to spend an exuberant amount of money on things, but not for us budget travelers. And for like indoor things that I wanted to check out, their hours were a lot more limited than they would be during another season. Like how I got to go to that really cool penitentiary. I had looked at something like that in Kentucky, Waverly Hills Sanatorium. That looked super cool to vlog about, and they only had one tour a week at like 7 p.m. and there was just no way that it was going to fit into my schedule. Lame. It just became very frustrating because the whole point of taking a road trip is so you can go and see all these cool little things, but if all those little things are closed, like if I have to keep skipping over the things that I wanted to see, like, and come back another season, what's really the point? I'd rather go back when everything I want to see is open and lively. Aside from establishments being closed, you're gonna have to keep a really close eye on the weather. And I don't just mean like the 10-day forecast before you leave on your road trip. I mean sometimes the weather can change daily, hourly, even in some places. And you'll need to make sure that you're prepared for that. I had to stay in the same place twice during my road trip due to weather conditions. The first time was in Texas. There was basically wildfires all around us, and then we got hit with this travel advisory talking about 70-mile-hour gusts of wind, and I'm just thinking about all the trucks that are still gonna be on the road, and I was not gonna be out there with them. And thank God I didn't, because this is exactly what I would have drove through on a shorter route to get me to my next destination. If I had just skipped Amarillo, I would have just driven right into this fire, and I would have had to turn around anyway. So I'm glad that I made the decision to stay that day. And the second one was from that first part of the video when I was recording. It just snowed too bad that I did not feel safe driving any further on the road. And if you don't feel safe, there's probably a reason, and you should probably not drive. Now, of course, this can happen in the summer too. With hurricanes, it might delay your trip, but at least as soon as the rain stops during a hurricane, you're most likely good to drive on the road. But in the snow, it could quickly ice over, and that just becomes a dangerous situation. I'm lucky enough to have a 4-wheel drive car, but not everybody does, and not everybody takes safety precautions when thinking about the weather on their road trip. So I just like to avoid that. But it is also annoying spending extra money to stay in a place that you didn't think you were gonna spend 2 nights in. So, not very convenient. Now before we move on to the third one, please take a second to hit that subscribe button because I have so much more to share with you guys about my road trip that it's kind of mind-blowing. You're definitely gonna want to stick around to see next week's video. Alright, another thing that I didn't consider was how much lower my energy was gonna be to do things in the cold. Because usually I am ready for adventure, let's go hike, let's go explore an abandoned ghost town, let's go do everything. But when it's 19 degrees out, you have no idea how much it hurts my hands just holding my camera out there. Sometimes the cameras just freeze if it's too cold, especially the GoPro. It just gives me like a white or a blue screen. It's like, no, sorry, too cold for that. So this was about a 4.4 mile hike. And I get it, camera, don't worry, I feel you. Like when it's too cold and I don't have the right gear, I know I don't have the right gear. When it's too cold, I just want to stay inside in the warmth and like watch movies and edit things and make itineraries for places in the warmth. I just don't have that type of motivation in the cold. Now, there are plenty of people that do, and if you do, please go right ahead. I'm sure the roads are a lot more clear right now, maybe. I don't know. That is just not for me, and I really didn't consider how much I wouldn't want to do things in the cold before I got out there, just because I was so hyped for a road trip. Like, after Amarillo, I drove all the way from Texas to New York and I filmed nothing. And then I filmed when I was with my best friend in New York for a day, but I didn't really plan on filming much there anyway because I was there to visit friends and family for Christmas. But then I drove all the way back to Colorado and I filmed nothing because it was too cold. There was nothing to do. It was either hailing. I wanted to go to some botanical gardens. Like, there was nothing that I could do. And you know, a lot of us suffer from that seasonal depression, so keep that in mind as well. Maybe just go and take a trip to somewhere warm because that's what I'll be doing in the future. Okay, for my fourth consideration, there is so much more that you have to just pack in your car if you're gonna be traveling during the winter as opposed to the summer. For example, like some of the roads, say the one like the Rocky Mountains, you need to carry chains in your car to be driving on those roads. When I drove from Utah to Breckenridge, I didn't have chains in my car, and I saw this sign on the road saying that like it's illegal to not be carrying chains when driving, and I was just like, oh, I did not know that. I gotta get down quick. You're also definitely gonna need an ice scraper because if you got caught without an ice scraper, I don't even know how you would get some of that stuff off your car. Like after the snow gets on and then freezes, like, you know, you like pry it off with your hands. No, you definitely need an ice scraper. It's also just a good idea to keep more food, water, and blankets and clothing in your car while it's winter because I don't know if you've been watching the news recently, but there have been quite a few pileups already this season and people have been trapped in their car for over 24 hours. You're gonna wanna make sure that you have all of those things. I feel like it's a lot easier to just get out and walk somewhere in the summer, but not so much if it's 0 degrees. So you gotta make sure you have a lot. Another little car consideration, mainly for those with newer cars, like my car has sensors, and after they put a bunch of salt on the road, like that can, I don't exactly know how to word this, but basically the salt from the road can cover part of your sensors and mess with them, so you have to make sure that those sensors stay clean so your car doesn't malfunction. Some of those safety features turn a little unsafe if you don't maintain them. And you also have to wait so much longer in the mornings to wait for like your car to warm up before you go so you don't ruin your car by that also. And there's just so many things that are just so extra and so much more frustrating that you would not have to do in the summer. And finally, for our fifth consideration, and this one really bugs me, is thinking about the time change once it becomes winter. Around, depending on where you are in the country, the sun will start to go down around, I'm gonna go with 3. That's when like the sun starts to like become into my eyes. By 4 o'clock, it's like unbearable. If you're driving west, of course, not east, unless it hits your mirror. But I would usually start my road trips at like 11 a.m. because I enjoy sleeping in and I suck at getting up early. So that leaves me with like 4 hours to drive and find something to film before the sun starts going down, and I'm spending the entire car ride with my hand in front of my face, which is super annoying because for some reason I think other people have like, I don't know, I can't see that easily in the sun. Like when I'm driving directly into the sun, it gives me more anxiety because I can't fully be aware of everything around me. And I just like to have a little bit of extra time in my day. So you just like, you lose out on that. It's 5 o'clock, it becomes 20 degrees. What is there to do besides go in your hotel room and just chill for the night and wait for the sun to come up the next day? Not fun. Now I'm sure if you're not like me, none of these things really bother you, but if you are like me, these are all things that I really wish I considered before getting on the road that last time. Don't get me wrong, first parts of my road trip all through September and December were fantastic and I loved it, but now that it's like truly winter, winter starts December 21st, I'm done for a while, but I have new plans now. We'll be getting into that more in the upcoming videos, but you know, you just gotta do what makes you happy, and this road trip lifestyle made me happy for quite a while, but now that it's not serving me anymore, it's time to find what makes me happy next. And I just happened to do that, but I will be sharing that with you guys in a little bit. Nonetheless, this channel will continue to be how to live a life without stability and plenty of travel along the way. Thank you for watching this today, and I hope you consider some of these things before you head out on the road during your winter road trip. If this video helped you at all, please hit that like button, and I will catch y'all on the next one.